now we're recording. Shh. And if this doesn't record, whatever. So if you're watching this video at home, it's because you needed help on how to write equations in slope-intercept form of medians and altitudes. So first of all, let's review. What does a median connect? What does a median connect? Anybody know? Great. It connects the vertex of a triangle to the midpoint of the opposite side. Okay? So on our homework, we were given triangle ABC with vertices of A at -1, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's vertex A. We were given B at 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I don't like that triangle already. And C, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. Okay? So I'm going to draw some really nice line thingies here. Right? I don't know what color I'm getting here. We'll just see. Oh, yeah. Where is that? There you go. So basically, eventually, the midpoint of BC is going to be about right there, correct? Correct? And I'm going to draw a line from there to that point. The midpoint of AB is going to be about right here. I'm going to draw a line from here. Okay? And then I'm going to draw one from whichever was the third point I just didn't remember. We're going to go through this. So, on your concept improvement tracker for these, spin around so my cord's not in my way, you're going to need a vertex. You're going to need the midpoint of the opposite side. Okay? So then you're going to have to find the slope between those. You're going to write it in point slope. You're going to convert it to slope-intercept. And you're going to graph. Reality is, once I find the midpoint, I can graph these without actually writing the equation, correct? Correct? I can draw, once I get another point, I just connecting 2 points. I can do that. Okay? So, we're going to go through each of these. I'm going to do from vertex A first. So, to find, how do I find the points of vertex A? How do I find the coordinates of vertex A? And the crowd goes silent. How do I know what the coordinates are of that point? You just, like, first of all, either look, right? You count over, that's -1 up 6, or you look at the paper that said vertex A was -1, 6. Yeah, somebody's not going to write this down correctly on their test, and it's, like, given. See, it's like a proof. It's given. It's right there. Copy it. So that's vertex A. So what side is opposite A? Opposite side means side not touching A. B and C. How do I know that? Two things. First of all, I can see vertex A is there. That point. And also, notice how BC doesn't have the letter A in it. If only you could see my faces. So, for B, to find the midpoint, the x value is 3. The x value of C is 7. I add those and divide by 2. And then for the y values, -4 plus 1 divided by 2. So the midpoint of the opposite side, 3 plus 7 is 10, divided by 2 is 5. -4 plus 1 is -3, divided by 2 is -3/2. Let's see if this makes sense. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, down 1.5. Oh, that makes sense, doesn't it? Okay, so now I want to graph it, which means, what color do I want here? I can actually just draw a line, right? I didn't actually have to write an equation to graph that, did I? I can connect points. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. Now I want to find the slope, so I can do two things. I can actually use the slope formula, or I can count. I prefer to count. So from here, I'm going to go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ooh, that's like a half thing. Right? Right? It's a half thing. Do you see what I'm saying? Why are you laughing at me? What? Because of my hair? Okay. It is very dark. It got colored. It's a little dark. But anyway, and we're in the dark because the lights are off. Back to the video. Okay, so the counting thing, I'm getting a little lost here what line I'm using. So I'm going to actually use the slope formula. So I'm using the slope formula. Oh, that's not what I want. I'm using the slope formula for that point and that point. I'll highlight them so you can see what I'm saying. Okay, so how do I find the slope? 6 minus negative 3/2. That's negative 1.5, right? Correct? And the y value, negative 1 minus 5. So 6 minus negative 1.5 is 6 plus 1.5 is 7.5, correct? And negative 1 minus 5 is negative 6, correct? So this is kind of weird. What is my slope? Negative 7.5 over 6. Are you with me so far? Okay, so I want to clean some of this up a little bit because this is really messy. Okay, so I can use either negative 1/6 or my midpoint, which was, what was my midpoint? 5, negative 1.5. I'm going back and forth here, guys, obviously, between fractions and decimals because I prefer fractions, but I'm assuming you guys get decimals better. Okay? So to put it in point slope form, I'm going to use the vertex point. I can use either of these. I'm going to use the vertex because it's whole numbers. Y minus the y value, which is 6, equals, the slope is negative 7.5 over 6, x plus 1, because it's x minus negative 1. Are you with me so far, or have I lost you? If I've lost you, it's probably because you weren't really doing the numbers with me. Again, I have the vertex. I found the midpoint. I use the slope formula. It's kind of ugly. Negative 7.5 divided by 6, but it works. So now let's turn this into slope-intercept form. By the way, guys, what is negative 7.5 divided by 6? Whoa, I almost came out of the wall here. Ah! I have a calculator. Anybody figure it out for me? I'm on my own here. 7.5 divided by 6 is negative 1.25. Okay, I can live with that. So negative 1.25 times x is negative 1.25x. Negative 1.25 times positive 1.25 is negative 1.25. We are going over the homework for the... Do you have your homework, dear? Here, come along. I'm wearing this thing because I'm videoing myself. So if you don't know how to do this, you can watch a video. How thrilling is this? Not that thrilling. But the moral of the story is, was I able to write the equation? Not yet. Now what do I have to do? What? Okay, so I'm working slope-intercept. I have to get y by itself, correct? So I have to add 6 to both sides. Y equals negative 1.25x negative 1.25 plus 6 is 4.75. Positive 4.75. By the way, let's look. That means my y-intercept should be 4.75, correct? 1, 2, 3, 4. It is. That line is coming through the y-axis just about 4.75. Okay? So we're a little confused. Guess what we get to do? We get to do it again with another vertex and another midpoint and everything. What? I can't move from the screen because my headphone thing is not that long. There we go. Can we go on to the next one? No. What are we writing? Can I erase some of the stuff at the top? Yeah, the top? You're not using that. Well, you're too late. Yes. Like 4. They're asking if I'm going to be here. I have a meeting, but I'm just going to, we'll figure it out. Okay. Yep. I think the meeting's in my classroom, though, so I'll just work it out. Okay, so I'm erasing the rest of this. Catch up. I should edit all this out, right? Oh my gosh, this is taking forever. Watch this trick. Oh yeah. Woo! I made it really large. And you know what else I'm going to do here? I'm going to type. Insert. Text. So guys, what am I doing here? I'm going to need a vertex. Then I'm going to need the midpoint of the opposite side. Then I'm going to need the slope. Not the clope, the slope. Okay, are we ready? So, this should make it a little bit easier for you if you're taking notes. Also, by the way, for those of you who are chatting, on your concept improvement tracker, right? Yeah, I forgot about that. I don't have one handy. The section that says to be able to write the equation of the line of each of the 3 medians in a triangle and find the point of concurrency by graphing. Right? This should be written there. Vertex, midpoint of opposite sides, slope, equation and point slope, equation and slope intercept form. So let's do vertex B. For vertex B, I can look at my paper. It's 3, negative 4. To find the midpoint of the opposite side. To find the midpoint of the opposite side. Negative 1 is the x value of A. And 7 is the x value of C. And then for the y values, it's 6 plus 1. What's negative 1 plus 7? That's 6, correct? Correct? 6 divided by 2 is 3. 6 plus 1 is 7. 7 divided by 2 is 3.5. Let's see if that makes sense. 1, 2, 3, up, 1, 2, 3, wow. Perfect sense. Although I'm not exactly, there you go. I'm not exactly calibrated. Now, I'm going to draw that line. So I'm going to draw a line from B to the midpoint of AC. Oh, wow, look at that. It goes straight up. What's my slope of a straight up and down line? What's that called? A vertical line has a slope of what? 0 is if it's horizontal, undefined. Okay. Over on the board back there, where we have steps for solving multi-step equations, are also hints about horizontal and vertical lines. It should be in your notes, but it's also going to be up there for the rest of the year because we use it all the time. So it says to write an undefined slope, it's x equals whatever the x value is. This point has an x value of 3. This point has an x value of 3. This point has an x value of 3. So the equation in point slope or the equation in slope intercept is the same thing. At this point, I can identify where these are going to intersect, can't I? On your homework, it also says find the approximate point of concurrency. These are intersecting at 1, 2, 3, up about 1.5. That's looking to me like it's going to be the approximate point of concurrency. I'm going to erase all this. If you didn't get it all, we'll do it for homework in class, or you can watch the video. So now I need to do for vertex C. Vertex C has a coordinate at 7, 1, correct? What's the midpoint of the opposite side? So that means the midpoint of A to B. So A has an x value of negative 1, and B has an x value of 3. A has a y value of 6 plus negative 4. Negative 1 plus 3 is 2, correct? 2 divided by 2 is 1. 6 plus negative 4 is 2, correct? 2 divided by 2 is... Did I do that right? So it looks like the midpoint should be at 1, 1. When I go over and graph 1.11, that makes sense, doesn't it? When I visually look at it, that makes sense. And now I'm going to draw a line. Look, that's a what kind of line? If this was a vertical line, this is a horizontal line. What's the slope of a horizontal line? 0. So whenever I write an equation in point slope or an equation in slope intercept for a horizontal line, looking at my tricks over there to help me, it's y equals whatever the number is. This is 0.11. This is 0.21. This is 0.31. So wherever I go on this line, y is equal to 1. Okay? So again, I'm given a vertex. I have to find a midpoint. I now have 2 points. I then have to find the slope of those 2 points. Then typically, I can use either point to write the equation in point-slope form. In this case, though, for these last two, one was horizontal and one was vertical. Are you writing all the steps down so your homework is done? Okay, because if you don't get it all done, you got to watch this video. Okay? So now I'm going to go on and I'm going to do altitudes. And I'm going to hope that this copies and pastes. Let's see. Hold on. Oh gosh. Insert. No. Hold on. I tried to copy and paste earlier. You think it'll work? Oh, I know what it is. Oh yeah. Oh, great. So now we have to find the altitudes. What's another word for altitude? Altitude is the height of the triangle. Okay? It goes from the vertex to the opposite side, intersecting at a 90-degree angle. So that means we're going to need the vertex. We're going to need the slope of the opposite side. We're going to need the opposite reciprocal slope. We're going to need an equation in point slope, an equation in slope intercept. Okay, so for this problem, first trick, can we plot points? We were given R at -4, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We were given S at -1, 3. 1, 2, 3. And we were given T at 5, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. When I connect those lines, S to T is straight across. Oh, that's nice. Okay. So I can imagine that that side extends, correct? Okay? So I can kind of see that the altitude here for this point, the one that to me is like the easiest to see, is going to be right along that line there. But let's go through this. So let's do R. The vertex of R is -4, 6. What's the slope of the opposite side? That's the opposite side is S to T, correct? What's the slope of that? Is it a horizontal line, a vertical line, or a tilted line? It's horizontal, right? And a horizontal line has a slope of 0. So what's the opposite reciprocal of 0? Undefined. So I looked back at my cheat sheet there. I wanted to write an equation of a line that has a slope of undefined and goes through this point. I see over there looking at my cheat sheet that any undefined line is always written, no matter what form, as x equals something. I want it going through this point, -4, 6. What is the x value in -4, 6? What's the x value in -4, 6? -4. Pulling teeth this morning. So the equation in slope-intercept form is also x equals -4 if I draw a line. Okay? I'm going to change the color here. Okay? It's going straight down, correct? It's vertical. It goes up and down. Do we have all that? Well, then you're going to have to finish it later. We got to move on. Not everybody wants to spend all day doing this. This will end up taking 45 minutes. It's long enough. You can watch the video. So for vertex S, it's at -1, 3. That's this. What's the opposite side? R to T, correct? What's the slope? I'm going to go down 3, 1, 2, 3, and over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I went down 3 and over 9, correct? You with me? -3 over 9 simplifies to -1/3, correct? So what's the opposite reciprocal of -1/3? It's 3. Okay? So to write the equation in point slope form, I only have one point. I'm using the opposite reciprocal slope. Okay? So that's y minus 3 equals a slope of 3, x minus -1 is x plus 1. To convert that, y minus 3, 3 times x is 3x, 3 times 1 is 3. I add 3 to both sides, and I get 3x plus 6, correct? So now I'm going to graph that. I'm going to count up 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That would be my y-intercept, correct? And I'm going to go up 3 and over 1, but I'm going to go off the graph here. So can I also go down 3, 1, 2, 3, and to the right 1? Well, that's good. I end up on that point. Can I draw a line here between those two? Yes. But I want these lines to intersect, so I actually have to continue my line down there, correct? Ooh, I need to continue that line a little bit. I can start to see that these are going to intersect way away from the triangle, correct? That's okay. Now I'm going to do the third one. And it's going to go from vertex T, which is 5, 3, to the slope of the opposite side. Well, the slope of this side, R to S, is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. -3 over 3, which simplifies to -1, correct? What's the opposite slope of -1? It's the opposite reciprocal slope of -1. +1. So again, I need to write an equation in point slope form. I have one slope, I have one point. Y minus 3 equals slope of 1, x minus 5. So to convert that into slope-intercept form, y minus 3 equals x minus 5. Add 3 to both sides. -5 plus 3 is a -2, correct? So I should have a y-intercept of -2, but a slope of 1. Up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1, up 1. Oh, wow. Look. it's going to intersect point T. And then if I go down 1 to left 1, down 1 to left 1, down 1 to left 1. So it was hard to tell, but my orthocenter is actually down there. So when I graph, actually come down like that. So there's a lot here, correct? So what do you need to do? You need to write the steps down on your concept improvement tracker, which when I'm done with the video, I'm going to do up here if you want to follow along, to be able to write the equation of a line of 3 medians. And you need to have the steps down to be able to write the equation of a line for each of the 3 altitudes. Hopefully this all recorded. I'm not doing it again if it didn't.